Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another Vinny Built Structures video. As the title says, this is going to be Grain Elevator Part 2 for Gary Weiss. I have assembled the main structure in this here. I go over the silos in this and I start adding some of my external components. Little information for you guys. If you're in the Los Angeles area, on July 8th and 9th, there'll be a train show in Pomona, California. I will be there with my buddy Art Ocampo at his Peepaws Model Railroading. I hope to see some of you guys come by and visit and say hello, maybe even buy something off of Arthur. If you guys like what I am doing here, I would appreciate it if you help support my channel via my PayPal Me account that I have listed in the descriptions. Anyhow, I think that's about enough I'm going to say for this, so let's get on with the video. Alright guys, welcome back to Can You Say Grain Part 2. This is for Gary Weiss, like I had mentioned in video number 1. Anyhow, what you're looking at here is my attempt to do these silos, and let me tell you something, I just have a hard time doing these guys. Anyhow, I couldn't get the seams any better than that. Again, it was frustrating me. I'd much rather have built my own rather than do these ones. I mentioned that in the last video. Anyhow, to cover these seams, I'm going to use this number 100, and it's 10 thousandths by 20 thousandths, and it will cover the seam nicely. It's very, very tiny. As you can see, if we put it right here and put it down there, and once it's painted, it'll be hardly noticeable. Anyhow, sorry Gary, but like I said, I just don't like doing these silos. The next thing we did was I used this fine textured paint. It didn't come out very fine. I don't know if you're going to see this on this one, but you can see that it's a little bit heavy. But I can just take that, knock it down with my finger, so I'm not worried about that. Anyhow, this is also a Home Depot buy. It only comes, the fine texture only comes in white and black. Anyhow, with all that being said, the next thing I'm going to do is start doing the head house for this one. This head house was already built. Gary already built it, so I don't have to worry about that. The only thing is, I don't know if I'm going to leave it the steel look or if I'm going to actually give it a paint. I don't know yet. We'll see when the time comes. Anyhow, let me get situated here and we'll start on this part of the video. Alright guys, what you see here now is my completed set of silos. I did add my little strips down here, so covered the seams up a bit. Like I said, I always have problems putting these guys together. I did spray these with the fine textured paint, and now these will get regular paint. I think I'm going to paint it the same color as the building. I'm having dilemmas on what color to paint these silos, but I think I finally decided to do it in the same color as the building, which you guys will see somewhere along this video. Anyhow, let me get going with that, and we'll see how that turns out. Alright guys, what you're looking at now is the painted silos. As you can see, I didn't give it a full coverage. I wanted to make it look like the paint was getting kind of old and wearing through. But as you can see, there is a difference between the white and the color I painted it. This is basically the same color as the building. So I think right now I'm good to go with the silos. So let's move on to the next part of this, which will be the other head house for the other set of silos. Alright guys, it's time to move on to the next section of this build, and that's going to be the head house is what I'm calling it. I don't know if exactly what it is, but I did take it off the sprue and I did clean it up a bit, and it's pretty simple, just four walls and a roof. So we'll get on with that. Alright, the next part of this build is complete. I did finish the head house, and as you can see, I do got the glazing in there. What I used to install the windows was this Model Masters Clear Parts Cement and Window Maker. I've never used it to make a window, but we'll see how it's supposed to dry clear. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but I got a little bit on there. And then there's some that goes across here. Now it's supposed to dry clear, so we'll see how that works out. Anyhow, the next part of this video is going to be the tedious job of installing a gazillion windows. Once the windows are in, I can start putting the building together. Anyhow, I think we'll get on with that part, and we'll see how that goes. Alright guys, what you're looking at here is 66 windows installed. That was a fun job, let me tell you. This main structure is ready to go together. So let me get situated, and I'll start putting this together, and I'll bring you guys back when the building is a freestanding building. Alright guys, what you're looking at is the completed building. Well, semi-completed anyhow. As you can see, I've added all my corner pilasters and so on and so forth. But as I was building this, and when Diana came over the other night, we discussed all these doors that are on here that I don't see where they go to or what the purpose of of all of those doors are. There's 4 on this side and 2 on this side, and these up here, I can understand why, because there's a couple of dust collectors up here that may need maintenance. But in the whole build, I'm saying to myself, well, not the whole build, but after everything was completed, I realized that they have all these doors here, but they don't have a people door down at the bottom where people can get into the building. So, this is after the fact. I decided to add a people door on the truck loading or unloading side of the building. So rather than tear the whole building apart, what I'm going to do is I cut an insert out. And what I'm going to do is just put that insert right in there and put a door there, and I'll run the canopy completely across there, and I don't think anyone will know that that is an insert. Anyhow, in scratch builds, you always have to adapt and overcome, and this is my solution to adding a people door at the bottom of this building. Next thing we're going to get into is doing the roof sections. I'm actually going to make my own roofs for all of the roofs, and then we're going to start doing the loading and unloading bins, and so let's see where that takes us. Alright guys, as I mentioned to you in the previous clip, I was going to add a people door down here. So this is what I came up with. I'm going to do a little bit of a bump out, and I had to make some modifications to this because the backing on the door was really thick. So I added this 134 strip around the outside and then sanded the door down to match the stripping. Anyhow, that'll sit right in there like that. And voila, we got a people door that goes into the building. Anyhow, let me get that secured, and we'll see where we go from there. I think the next thing I'm going to do is start doing the roofs for this section, and we'll carry on from there. Alright Gary, here's the feature that you weren't expecting on your build. I thought I'd just add it just to have a little fun with you. And I hope you like it. So watch this. Bam! What do you think about that? I think it looks good. I think the only LEDs I had were off a strip set of LEDs, so I took off 3 and I put them in there. And so I think that looks good. And we got a switch to operate it. And so let me show you how I did this. Alright guys, I wanted to add some lighting to this build for Gary, and how I did that was the strip LEDs, they come in 3s, so if you can see this right here, if you split it between those 2, this becomes a section by itself. So I took 3 of them off and I super glued them down to the bottom. That cross beam that I put in here, I put that cross beam in there to keep everything square. Also, I added a single pole, single throw switch, and as you can see, bam. So I hope you like this little feature that I'm adding in there for you, Gary. Anyhow, we'll continue on with the build and get this one done. And then we'll start working on the other ones. I should have decal proofs today or maybe tomorrow, and I will show you what they look like. Anyhow, let's continue on with the project. Alright Gary, this is a couple of instructions for you. Right here, if you can see this, let's see if I can zoom in on that. Right here I have a temporary solder joint. What you'll have to do when you get it on your layout is to cut it here and drill a hole in your sub road bed and go through the bottom of your road bed to hook up the wires, and then you'll have to extend these wires probably out to your fascia. Just remember that the red and the gray go together. If you put it backwards, they won't work. I'm also, just to show you this, I'm using a 9-volt battery to run these lights. I believe that they can go up to 12 volts with no problems. I would suggest you use one of those wall warts with no more than 12 volts. Anyhow, that was just a little instructions for you how to hook this up. So let's get on with the rest of the project. Alright guys, while I'm waiting for this guy to set up and cure, I'm going to go ahead and start making the roof sections for this. And what I'm going to be using, of course, my for sale signs. Anyhow, I am not going to use the factory ones for here, only because I want all three roofs to match. But there will be some detail up here, and you'll see that in the reveal. Anyhow, let me get going with this, and I'll bring you back when I got the roofs cut out and painted. Alright guys, here's my roof sections. As you can see, I did use the for sale sign. I did spray it with the white textured paint to give it the gravel type of effect on here. And the light spots you see on here were done intentionally as part of the weathering I'm going to be doing for this. You can see that there's some light spots in here. I don't know if you guys really can see that, but anyhow, I want it to look like it's been in the weather for a while, and that the weather has taken its toll on this roof and started to fade out the paint. Anyhow, they will fit up here very nicely. Of course, they need to be secured down. And let's see, this guy here. There will be details that go up on here. I'm going to use the factory dust collectors. The original kit only had two. This is going to have two on each side, plus I'm going to have some other details that I hope Gary likes when I get this together. The next thing I'm going to work on is the hopper unloading shed. So let's stay tuned for that, and we'll see how that works out. Alright guys, here's my hopper shed. I extended it by about an inch over here so it would take up the full length of the building. And what I did was I had an extra wall that I cut what I needed, and I gave it a splice here in the back, so it all holds together very nice, and it's pretty strong. I painted it the same grade that I painted the roof, and of course this will get a lot of, well, not a lot, I don't want it to look too old, but it will get some weathering on here. Anyhow, this will fit over here like this, and as you can see, plenty of room for a hopper to sit in there. Anyhow, I'm going to do the same thing for the truck loading side, and I am going to, like I said, turn this guy around. I'm going to extend the canopy all the way across here, just like I did for the hopper unloading or loading, whatever you want to call it. Anyhow, let me get on with that, and we'll see how much more trouble we can get into. Alright guys, as you can see, I started adding some of the external parts of this building. This is the truck loading side of the elevator. On the piping here, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but there are some bosses under here where there was supposed to be this pipe mounted to the building. But since I have modified the piping the way it is now, I'm going to add my own supports. And what I'm going to use for that is a little bit of piano wire, as you can see right here. And I looped it around, and I made this little template so I can stick it under the pipe and drill my holes out exactly where I want them. And of course, this is way too long right now. I will cut this, and I will do two on each pipe. Anyhow, let me get on with that, and we'll see how this looks. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got my pipe supports in there, and they worked out pretty easily. And I sacrificed one of my skewers to add the glue to the inside where the metal goes through the plastic. Anyhow, I think that's about as far as we're going to go with this build today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, your questions, comments, input, subs, shares, and likes are welcome. Don't forget to check out my PayPal Me account. Any donation is welcome. For now, that's all folks. BNSF 6951 out.